Morning, class. Come on in and grab your packets from the daily box on the way to your seats. And I'll know when you're ready to begin when your eyes are up front, your pencils are in your hands, and your packets are on your desk, and you're ready to go. All right, so it looks like we're ready to get started. So today we're going to use guided notes to continue our discussion of fiction texts. And we're going to talk about narrative point of view. So make sure you're active listening today. Who can tell me what active listening means? Yes, AJ.
Active listening is like listening with intent to learn.
Okay, yeah, that's a good definition. So I'll know you're active listening when your eyes are up front and you're taking notes, you're filling in your guided notes, and you're raising your hand if you have any questions or you get confused. All right, so let's get started. So we're going to be talking about narrative point of view today. So point of view, or POV, which is what I'm going to abbreviate it as sometimes, is the blank from which a story is told. So who can think of a word that kind of fills in that blank there? Yes?
Perspective.
Good, perspective. So perspective is a word that means the way someone sees something or how they view something. So we can say point of view is a perspective from which a story is told. So, and then who remembers from last week what the person who tells the story is called? Justin?
Narrator.
The narrator. Good job. So the narrator is the person who tells the story. So point of view is the perspective of the narrator. So there's two main types of point of view that we're going to talk about today, and that's first person point of view and third person point of view. So first person point of view is usually when the story is narrated, good job, or told by a character who is actually in the story. And so I'll give that one to you guys, in the story. So the story is narrated or told by a character who is actually in the story and who is actually experiencing the events that are taking place. So we use first person point of view to talk about stories that we are in. So stories about us. So for example, I went to the mall and I bought myself some clothes. I had a really good time. In that example, I am the main character in the story. So I am telling you the events that I experienced firsthand. So there's some clues that kind of let us know when we're talking about first person. And so you might have heard those in the story that I just told you. And those are the pronouns I, me, my, our, we, and us. Does anybody remember what a pronoun is? No one? All right. If we'll remember from our discussion last week, a pronoun is a word that replaces a noun. So I, me, my, our, we, and us are first person pronouns. So let's look at our example. I went on a walk with my dog yesterday. We had so much fun exploring. My dog chased a squirrel up a tree. I can't wait to go on a walk with my dog again this afternoon. So if you can see in this example, there are a lot of these clue words that we have circled. I, my, we, my, I, and my. So we can tell that this is first person point of view because it's like the main character in the story is telling you how they experienced the events that were happening. I went on a walk with my dog. The story is being told by the person who actually experienced the events. Does that make sense to everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay, so then let's talk about third person point of view. So unlike first person point of view, third person point of view is blank or told. So what did we say meant told? AJ?
Narrated.
Narrated, good job. Make sure you raise your hand when you guys have an answer. Okay, so third person point of view is narrated or told by someone who is, this is important, someone who is not a character in the story. So we said first person point of view was told by a character who is in the story. Third person point of view is told by a character who is not, or someone who is not a character in the story. So we use third person point of view to tell stories about others. So AJ went to the mall with his friends. he saw a lot of people shopping and buying things. I'm telling a story about AJ going to the mall. I'm not in the story. I'm not a character experiencing the events, but I'm telling a story about someone else. So some clues that we see that indicate we're using third person point of view are also pronouns, and they are he, she, it, they, them, and their. So let's look at our example, and afterwards we'll raise your hand and see if you see any of the clues in the story. All right. So Lady Gaga performed during the 2017 Super Bowl halftime show. She performed several of her hit songs, and she even jumped down from the roof of the stadium. She had a lot of backup dancers. They all did a great job without missing a beat. So, who sees one of these clues in our example? AJ?
She.
She. Good job. Where do you see that? Right here?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. All right. Anybody else see one? Desiree?
You refer to the main character as Lady Gaga instead of like I or me or...
Okay. Yeah, that's good. So let's underline that. So in third person point of view, sometimes we refer to the characters as their names instead of I, because I'm not Lady Gaga, so I didn't say I performed during the halftime show. I'm talking about someone else. Lady Gaga performed during the halftime show. That's good. Okay? Any of these other clues we see in here? Justin?
There's another she at the second to last sentence. And they.
Right here. Okay, good job. They, good job. All right, anybody else? Nope. All right, let's look. Well, I see another she right here. All right, that might be all of them. We can even say her. It's not one of our clue words, but it's also a third person pronoun. So we can see from these clues that we are talking about someone else doing an action. We're not the main character in the story, and we're not experiencing the events ourselves, but we are talking about somebody else who did something. Good job. All right, so if you turn to the next page of your packets, we have some examples, and you can see that they're in a T-chart with the example sentence on the top, and then we have two boxes for clues and for which point of view we think it is. So let's go over the first one together as a class, and then you guys can all get into your groups and talk about all of the other practice questions. So let's read the first one together. Cindy felt like she had the plague. She had a runny nose, itchy eyes, and had sneezed about 1,000,000 times. All she wanted to do was go home, eat some soup, and take a nap. Unfortunately, she still had an hour left before the final bell rang and her mom could pick her up and take her home. Okay, so what kind of clues do we see in this sentence? So let's circle them and also write them in our clue box. AJ, you see one?
In the first sentence, she.
She, okay. Perfect. Let's write she. Anybody else? Michelle?
In the second sentence, she.
She, okay. Another she. Let's write that again. Yes, Fernando?
The third sentence, she.
Okay. Okay. Oops. Anyone else? Yes.
After unfortunately, there's a she,
Okay.
and the line under that, there's a her.
Her. Okay. Is that all of them? There's another couple of hers in here. Awesome. Okay. So, what do we think, based on the clues we found, what point of view do we think that this is in?
Third person.
Third person. Good job. Now, why do we think that this is third person and not first person? Why can't this be first person? Yes.
Because the words that are being used, such as she and her, imply that it's talking about someone else.
Okay.
Or talking about someone else.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm saying that I felt like I had the plague. I'm talking about others. And remember, we use third person when we tell stories about others. So I'm not experiencing these events, but I'm telling you a story about someone else experiencing these events. So I'm speaking in third person. Good job. All right, so let's go ahead and get in our groups and use the next 15 minutes to go over these practice questions. So make sure each member of your group gets a turn reading the question, and then I'll know you guys are all ready and finished when your pencils are down, your eyes are up front, and we'll continue. So I'll come around and check in with you guys and make sure we're all on the same page. So let's go ahead and get started. Awesome job, guys. I heard a lot of positive discussion going on and saw some good identifications of clues. So let's take the next 10 minutes to go over the answers in class and make sure we all understand the concepts we learned today. All right, good job, everyone. So remember to complete your practice homework for tonight to get ready for tomorrow's class, because tomorrow we're going to dive a little bit deeper into third person, and we're going to talk about third person limited and third person omniscient perspectives. So make sure you complete that so that you're ready to go when we come in tomorrow. Bye, everyone. Have a good afternoon.